I cringe for actually crying while role-playing? I found that question on the DnD Reddit community, coupled with the following story. I was playing the campaign wrap-up with my friends last night, and we had just beat the big bad. An NPC that our bard had charmed came to his senses, and he was angry at us because he was a cultist for the big bad we just killed. We argued with the cultist and told him his life purpose was stupid, and he stormed off. Our rogue is a child girl and my fighter is a big dumb human gold retriever. She had been possessed by the big bad and had just gotten out as well, and my character was trying to take care of her, but she wanted to rush off and talk to the cultist, so I tried to stop her. The DM had me roll strength and she rolled against me and won. So we had this huge in-game fight about how she can take care of herself and I can't stop her from doing what she wants. I'm a very emotional person. When I would play pretend with my brother as a kid and we did something emotional, I would genuinely start to cry. And that's what happened last night. I'm just worried this is kind of lame or embarrassing. All my friends were genuinely worried about me. That story got over 400 comments, the vast majority positive and supportive. Emotions can run high after a long storyline and session. People also cry during a movie they're watching. You were living the story. Kudos to your friends for worrying instead of laughing, and many others like that. A user shared another emotional game session tale. Every group will treat you differently about this, but the best groups not only won't care, but will be supportive of the high emotions. Additionally, once there's permission for this kind of outlet at the table, that is, someone has done it with positive reactions, it's likely others will feel more comfortable immersing and expressing high emotions too. We played the same characters over an epic 3-year game, and 2 of our group, me included, died to save the others in the final battle. Me and my friend had a decent inkling we wouldn't win without sacrificing ourselves, so we had written farewell letters to the group in the chance of our death. Those letters were read aloud after the battle by the survivors. Not a single dry eye at the table. Years later, it's still one of the most memorable sessions for all of us, with the battle and deeply cathartic wrap-up. Role-playing is a powerful artifice, so much so that it's used in contexts as diverse as therapy and professional training sessions. But why does it have the potential to suck us in with such a tremendous force? What is the psychology behind D&D? Luckily, I'm married to a therapist who taught me the answers for those questions and shared a couple of insightful remarks about these stories. Every D&D player sees the adventures through their character's eyes and feels their feelings, creating a strong emotional connection with their characters, the world, and the campaign. The more relatable their characters are, the more they enable and enhance those connections, helping players to quickly get into character. A game table with players in that role-playing flow state lights up and makes the adventure promptly come alive. There are subtle but profound psychological processes that happen when players role-play their characters in a D&D campaign and explain how emotions ran high up to cathartical moments in those 2 stories. One of them is called identification. This happens when players align themselves with and act upon, consciously or unconsciously, the traits, behaviors, or values they create for their characters. Identification can also happen with other adventure elements that not their own characters, such as NPCs or other player characters, locations, or stories to which players assign a sentimental value, sense of belonging, cultural and social identity, or symbolic meaning. Another process that can happen while role-playing is called projection. This happens when players unconsciously attribute their own thoughts, feelings, or motives to their characters. The last one is called transference. This happens when players unconsciously redirect feelings, desires, or expectations originally associated with people or situations from their personal lives to characters or situations in the adventure, especially if those characters or situations mirror or resemble those of their lives. Those processes were likely in play in the two stories I shared. In the second story, that group of friends was playing together for 3 years. By then, they had all identified with the two characters who died. When they read their farewell letters aloud, they couldn't help but break with the emotional impact of the message the characters left for them. The explanation for what happened in the first story is a bit more speculative. But we can imagine that when our golden retriever fighter was trying to get a hold of our rogue girl and she pushed him away, both players were projecting their emotions to their own characters and transferring the other characters' situations they had experienced or feared to experience with other people in their lives. Someone who was overreaching and suffocating her, and someone who was breaking away from the loving care he was offering. While the role-played scene was make-believe, their emotions were subtly as true as it gets, leading to their cathartic moment. Such processes can naturally occur during our campaigns. They play a significant role in creating immersion for players, just like they enable an audience's immersion in any other art form. Understanding them helps DMs and players grasp how crafting relatable backstories and character-driven storylines is central to establishing the necessary emotional connection for deep immersion adventures. Having said that, DMs should never leverage the information they might know about their players' lives to mirror or inspire situations in the campaign with the intent to make those processes happen, since they might be deeply personal. While D&D adventures may spur realizations and cathartical moments, it isn't the DM's role to consciously or actively trigger them, especially without the player's consent. But if you're as hungry as I am for character-driven adventures, I have something coming up that is perfect for you. It's a guidebook that you will be able to use as a springboard for such adventures. The Ultimate Guide for Characters That Matter presents what no Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition sourcebook offers: a clear and comprehensive guideline for players to create character backstories that matter in 10 straightforward steps. It has 56 pages of ingenious ideas to inspire players create their backstories, key questions, practical tables, clear examples, and helpful sourcebook references. If all that excites you as well, follow me closely over the next few weeks. I'll launch it in early March, and all my followers will be able to download it for free.